Hi, Jay.
Hey, Reed.
We just had a good scrum with Nick Bukestad, who seems to be loving life as an Oiler, as an Edmontonian. You know, 3 goals, too. How do you feel? There's 2 adjustments for him, right? There's the hockey player side, and there's the person side. What do you see from both?
Well, he's really embraced the community of Sherwood Park. I think he's, you know, I was asking him about the commute and everything like that, but he's in a great spot in Sherwood Park and enjoys that part of Edmonton. And I think his family's settled, so he feels good about that. I think on the hockey side, he's found a way to contribute offensively. He plays a little bit on the power play, a little bit on the penalty kill, takes important face-offs. And, you know, he scored some big goals for us, so he's been a good addition.
When you've, through your, whether it's Nick or other players who come in from a trade or come up from the minors, how, or maybe it depends on the guy and his personality, how active are you as a coach to, you know, make him feel comfortable, or do you rely on the leaders in the room to do that? You know what I'm getting at? Yeah,
I think, you know, when you bring new people into the team environment, you want to make sure that they feel welcome. So right off the bat, it's on you to make them feel welcome, but you don't want to overdo it either, and you don't want anything to be forced, right? So you just kind of let people be, and then you find moments. You know, we were on a long road trip where you can have a coffee with someone, or, you know, shoot the breeze about getting their family settled here in Edmonton and all that kind of stuff. And then the other thing is to ask questions. I think that's how you learn about someone, and not just about that person, but maybe how things are done in other places, and if there's good ideas that other teams have, it's always good to learn.
What would you say about the quest to cut the goals down and get the defensive side of the game where you know it's probably going to need to become playoff time? Where do you think you're at now, and what continues to be the work in progress?
Here's what I would say. I would say that I looked at the NHL standings today, and I think Vegas is 8-2-0 in their last 10, so they're not giving up much. LA is 8-0-2 in their last 10, and Edmonton is 8-2-0 in our last 10. So that's a pretty good run. 8-2 or 8-0-2, those are pretty good runs right there. I think for us, you know, we went 8-2, but we didn't gain a lot of territory in the standings. It's just, you know, kind of keeping up. I think for us to get to where we want to get to, we have to continue to improve that side of our game. We're 8-2. The 2 games that we didn't win, we had chances to win that. Maybe if we were a little bit better defensively and handled some situations better, you might be 10-0. So I think, you know, I thought it was a great sign that we found a way to win the game yesterday. I'll start by that. That's a credit to our players. But there are areas of improvement for our team going forward. We want to bridge the gap, or, you know, close the gap to the best teams in the National Hockey League. And in order to do that for our team, our group this year, there's some things that have to get done. We're aware of them. We talk about them constantly. You know, we've shown periods of time where we've been really good at them. But in the end, talk is cheap. We got to do it on an everyday, every game basis. And there are certainly moments where we can be better.
Jay, how do you, or how will you handle like load management down the stretch here? We saw a little bit today.
Yep.
Not just decreasing, but increasing on game days or even in game.
Yeah, well, I mean, something we think about, we talk about. I think hockey is a little different sport than basketball, where that kind of term is in vogue right now. You know, I think it's almost understanding where you are in the schedule, so schedule management or fatigue management. Those are things I think you take the temperature of your group on a daily basis. For me, we're trying to make good decisions in the short term, but also for the long term. So we talk about it. We have a lot of experts on the medical side, a lot of experts on the strength and conditioning side, and we use every resource at our availability.
Jay, given the situation now, you mentioned the 8-2, winners of 4 straight. Interesting process, I guess, is one way to put it. But
Yeah.
I remember Tom McClellan used to say, sometimes you got to know when to give your guys a kick. Sometimes you got to know when to put your arm around them.
Yeah.
Given how you've, gotten to where you're at now, where are you in that situation? Is it a figurative kick, or is it a arm around them, hey, let's do this a little bit better type of thing heading into tomorrow?
Well, I would say that the first thing is that you acknowledge that going 8-2 is not an easy feat. So it's a credit to our players. You don't have that record unless you've done some things very well. So that's a credit. But we're walking through this thing with our eyes open. We tell each other the truth. We have areas of our game that have to continue to get better, areas of our game that we have to continue to grow, areas of our game that we have to maintain. And that's what we do on a daily basis. That's whether we're in March, which we are now, or in November. That's what you got to do is continually making sure that you're doing your work, that you're seeing things clearly, that you address things head on. Things don't just get swept under the rug here. We're very clear about addressing the areas of our game that have to improve, but at the same time, I would go back to the team is 8-2 in the last 10. We've worked our way into, I think, 4 points out of the conference lead. I'm not sure. I think it's 4. The other thing I would say is that when you look at goal differential in the Western Conference, I think we're right there. I think when you look at regulation wins, I think we're second in the NHL. I go a lot to the other day. I mentioned something, just about limiting chances and where we are and expected goals against, high danger chances against, all those types of things are some good spots for our team. Are there areas to improve? Yes, there are. But in the end, the team is 8-2-0 in the last 10.
Just to follow up on Kevin's question then, because you talked about the standings and whatnot, how important would it be to get to the conference final, or the conference lead, I should say, and versus kind of making sure guys are best for the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing. We're trying to finish as high as we can. I mean, you look at that Central Division, I think there's 3 teams within a point of each other. I think there's 4 points separating first and third in the Pacific Division. We play the 2 teams that are in front of us twice. We're trying to finish as high as we can. We're trying to gain as many points as we can, but probably most importantly, and this kind of goes to everybody's question here today, we want to make sure our game is in the right place. We want to make sure that we're using these last 11 dress rehearsals in the right manner, so that we're ready when game 83 hits. Are we going to be perfect down these last 11 games? We're not going to be perfect, but we hope to capture learning moments and improve and get better so that we are ready for game 83. Good, thanks, guys.